if we really got hold to how good God is.
Yeah.
I mean, it would change your whole world. Let me just say something to y'all who are really taking some steps forward here with regard to your walk with God. Look, you've got to keep moving. You've got to keep moving. If God has done what He's already done for you now, right? You have to know that God is going to do so much more as you keep moving down the road here. So please don't. Sometimes we talk to married couples and they're getting married. A lot of married couples, they think when they're getting married, they think that the wedding's the finish line. Because they just spent, some number of thousands of dollars, and they just spent some number of months, planning this, ceremony. And we go up there and everyone's looking all pretty and everything, and then I stand up there and we say, now pronounce you husband and wife. They think it's done. They think they crossed the finish line. Look, I hate to tell you, you just started the race. You know what I mean? And so let me just say to y'all, like you might feel like this move of God in your life is like crossing a finish line. Please understand, you just started the race, right? There's so much in front of you, right, that God wants to do in your life. Matthew chapter 5 is a perfect leadway or segue into the Beatitudes. Tonight we start, and it will not take us long. We're going to start the study of the Beatitudes. I want to sort of lay a foundation for this. Next week, Tim is teaching. Pastor Tim's teaching next week. He'll dive into the first Beatitude next week. And we're going to go 9 weeks in a row on these Beatitudes. In Matthew chapter 5, there are 9 Beatitudes. It is a fuller treatment of the Beatitudes than Luke offers. Luke also has the Beatitudes in his gospel, but there's only 5 of them in his. So we're studying sort of Matthew 5, which is 9 of them. It's a much longer sort of treatment, okay? So I want to just read it out loud. I think that those of you that have read the Bible a little bit, they might sound a little bit familiar to you, okay? And if not, then the first time you've heard it, then let's just hear it together, all right? One of the things I love about when we haven't heard something is that it allows you to sort of sit in the seat or stand in the shoes of Jesus' disciples. They had not heard this before. So please don't sit here and be like, why? That's new to me. I don't have a Bible. I haven't read it. Don't worry about it. They hadn't either. So let's just hear it together almost for the first time tonight. Matthew chapter 5. It starts with verse 1. Now this is the very beginning. Has anyone ever heard of the Sermon on the Mount? You ever heard of that? Maybe don't know it, but you've heard of it. This is the beginning of it. This is how Jesus starts. Right here. He starts this way because he is introducing. Now, if you can imagine, how many chapters are before chapter 5 in the Gospel of Matthew?
4.
Good. It's not a Bible question, it's a math question. All right. So there's 4 chapters, right? So we are not too deep into Matthew at this point, right? So it's not like he spent a whole lot of time with his disciples, with his people, right? So this is early stuff for he and his disciples. He's just starting to talk to them. What is Jesus doing? He is introducing them to the kingdom of heaven. Kingdom of God. I mean, this is revolutionary for their will, and it's revolutionary for us. That's why I wanted to start tonight sharing a few testimonies, because I want you to realize that what God is doing in your life, you have to see the bigger picture. What He's doing in your life is what heaven intends to do in your life. It is heaven come to earth, heaven invading earth, that you may see all that heaven intends for you. But I think our mistake is, and the mistake of the disciples is that we keep moving out of heavenly realities, right? And we begin to say, oh, well, that was a great miracle in my life. That was a great blessing in my life. But let me just go back and do the things the way I've always done them, right? And he's saying, no, I want to introduce to you the kingdom of heaven. All that it is, and it is going to, and it reigns forever and ever, and it is present here. It is a reality, is real for us now. So here he is. The crowds come, it says in Matthew chapter 5, verse 1, and then he and his disciples, they move off to the side, and he begins to talk to them, almost like the first time they've heard this. What is this kingdom of heaven? Here it is. He says this, now when Jesus saw the crowds, he went up on a mountainside and sat down. His disciples came to him and he began to teach them. Here we go, the Beatitudes. He said, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Can you imagine? These are the first words that Jesus says in what becomes the Sermon on the Mount. I don't know what you're thinking, but I imagine whatever you're thinking, it's probably not too far from what his disciples were thinking. He has my attention. Blessed are those who mourn, for they are comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed, Jesus says, are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. By the way, another cancer survivor just entered the room. It's powerful. It's awesome. So, what is sort of like standing out to you? You may have, maybe you had a Bible, maybe you read it, maybe you're reading on your phone, maybe you just heard it, maybe you're just listening to me, right? What stood out to you as Jesus is sharing this?
Like it relates to yourself, in your life.
Good.
Blessings that He created to everybody, so that the earth's gonna be paradise and not be a sinful person. Bless the merciful people, because He blessed them. And what are the blessed?
Yeah, I'm following you. What else?
Can I read it in the Message?
Absolutely. Go ahead, Em. Yep.
Okay. Because I was just reading along
Please.
and I love the way that it
It's great.
said, you're blessed when you're at the end of your rope. With blessed you, there is more of God and His rule. You're blessed when you feel you've lost what is most dear to you. Only then can you be embraced by the one most dear to you. You're blessed when you're content with just who you are. No more, no less. That's the moment you find yourselves proud owners of everything that can't be bought. You're best when you've worked up a good appetite for God. He's food and drink and the best meal you'll ever eat. You're blessed when you care. At the moment of being cared for, you find yourselves cared for. You're blessed when you get your inside world, your mind and your heart put right. Then you can see God in the outside world. You're blessed when you can show people how to cooperate instead of compete or fight. That's when you discover who you really are and your place in God's family. You're blessed when your commitment to God provokes persecution. Persecution drives you even deeper into God's kingdom. Not only that, count yourselves blessed every time people put you down or throw you out or speak lies about you to discredit you. What it means is that the truth is too close for comfort and they are uncomfortable. You can be glad when that happens. Give a cheer even. For though they don't like it, I do. And all heaven applauds. And know that you are in good company. My prophets and witnesses have always gotten into this kind of trouble.
That's great. Thanks, Em. That is great. I love how Eugene Peterson, who wrote that translation, or paraphrase, if you will, I like that he starts with, he fills out the first statement. Right? He starts with, you are blessed, every time, right? You are blessed. Instead of, in what I read, just starts with blessed. I want to, if you are a Christian, right? If you are following Jesus, one of the things you have to sort of come to terms with is the reality of the kingdom of heaven. Okay? That it is real. This is what Jesus came to inaugurate. It's what he came to initiate. It's what he came to establish, was his Father's kingdom. Which is to say that Jesus didn't come and say, I've come to establish my Father's kingdom, which is going to be something that you can experience at some point, I don't know, another 2,000 years from now. No, that's not what he's saying. He's saying, I'm coming to introduce you. I want you to inherit the kingdom. I want you to receive the kingdom now. Right now. He says the time has come. Right now. Right now. The kingdom of God is near. He says, repent. What you're doing is not working. He says, turn the other way. He says, and believe the good news, the gospel of the kingdom of heaven. What is this kingdom of heaven? What is heaven? Let's talk about that a little bit. What does the kingdom of heaven look like? So go ahead and talk back to me on this one. What does the kingdom of heaven look like?
Peace.
Peace. What else?
Justice.
Now imagine our world right now. You say peace in our world right now, that's different than what we have, right? Okay, justice.
Yeah.
Different than what we have right now. What else? Joy. Different than what we have right now. What else?
Equality.
Equality or equity.
Equity.
Say it again.
Cooperation.
Cooperation.
Life.
No
As opposed to death.
Death.
Comfort, I heard.
Yeah.
No death. No death.
No suffering.
No suffering. What else?
Sickness.
No sickness in the kingdom of heaven. What else?
Bondage.
No bondage, right? No, you're free. This is the kingdom of heaven, right? This is what Jesus comes to initiate, to establish, to inaugurate. This is why he comes. And he says it's here now. Did you hear what Jesus just said? Jesus just said, no sickness, no suffering, peace, justice, righteousness. All that is available right now, he says. This is what he is saying in Matthew 5 in all of the Beatitudes. Watch what he says. Here, let me just do it this way. This word blessed, right? So there are two words used for blessed in the New Testament, okay? So in the Greek language, okay, there are two words. One word is eulageo. Everyone say eulageo.
Eulageo.
That word is the word that you would use if there was someone who was sick, like we were praying for Daisy, right? We say, Lord, bless, the word bless, right? Word bless Daisy, right? Bless the sick, bless those that are hurting right now. Okay, that's that word, eulageo. Okay? So we're saying bless. May there be something that would become true about them, about you, about me. Does that make sense? Okay, it's not true right now. May it become true. Bless them. Okay? Bless that person. Bless my mother. Okay? All right. So that's eulageo. There is a second word that's used for the word blessed in the New Testament. Everyone say markarios.
Markarios.
Say it again. Markarios.
Markarios.
Okay, this is a different word. And this is the word that we find in Matthew 5. It's markarios. Okay? Markarios speaks to an existing state of being. It speaks to the quality or equality of spirituality that is already present. It's different than eulageo. Not present. You are sick. Lord, eulageo. Bless the sick. They are sick. Bless. Change that reality. Bless them. You see what I'm saying? Markarios. No. Yes. They are sick, but they are well. Blessed are the sick. Watch as this transpires. Here we go. So then he goes on here. Watch this. He says, so let's go for the first one. Okay. Now I'm not going to teach each one of these because, again, if you just came in next week, right? We're going to do the first one. Pastor Tim's going to kind of really give a full treatment of the first beatitude. And then the next week there'll be the second one, the next one will be the third one. Okay, so I'm not going to teach each one of them tonight. I just want to lay the foundation for what's to come. Everyone got that? All right. But just watch what Jesus is saying here. This is Makarios. He says, "Blessed," or you are blessed. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Now, look. If you're me, man, look, Jesus says blessed, or sometimes the word's translated happy. Happy are the... And that ought to just mess you up right there. Yeah. I'm sorry, Jesus. What are you talking about? I don't get it. Blessed. Okay, let's keep going here. So he goes, okay, well, how about this one? Here's a good one. Happy are those who mourn. I'm sorry, what? Jesus, they're crying. You just said they're happy. You need to go back to the eye doctor, my friend, because you don't understand clearly what's happening here. They are sad, and you just said they are blessed. You said they are happy. Okay, let's go next. How about this one? Blessed are the meek. The meek. That was not a compliment. In the first century, if you walked around meekly, what is honored in the first century in Rome is the powerful. It's the emperor. It's the king. That is who is honored. That is who we honor. We don't honor the meek. The meek are not high in social status. They are low in social status. Jesus says, "Blessed are the meek." If Jesus was talking from a paradigm or from our worldly sort of way, who do we honor in our society? Who do we sort of lift up in our society? The rich and the famous, right? Rich and famous, and the beautiful, and the government, the politicians, and the president. Anybody else? President. These are people that we lift up in our society. Those that even whoever sort of risen their way to the top of whatever, the top of politics, the top of gangs, the top of the police force, the top of whatever it is, the top of their trade or their profession. Those are the people that we honor. Jesus says in this society, he says, look, in the kingdom of heaven, blessed are the meek. He's not speaking from the perspective of our world. He clearly has another perspective that he's introducing here, and it is called the kingdom of heaven. And keep in mind, the kingdom of heaven is real. I mean, it is more real than even our reality right now. He says, when Jesus speaks, he speaks with authority. He says, look, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. He's not trying to tell you a story. He's not trying to say, hey, don't worry. I know you haven't made any payments on your car note or whatever, but it'll be fine. It may not be fine, actually, right? They may actually repossess your car. I mean, that might happen, right? So you have a friend who's just trying to make you feel better, right? Don't worry about that. You don't have to pay. It'll be okay, right? You have to pay your rent. It's fine. I'm sure they'll let you go. No, Jesus is not speaking like a well-wisher. Jesus has a perspective of a kingdom that is an alternative, that is different than the kingdom they were living. The kingdom they were living in says, someone write a beatitude, if you will, for the kingdom of Rome in the first century. We just walk through. Let me back up. That's hard. Let's do an easier one. Write a beatitude as though you were writing this right now for the United States right now. What is a beatitude from the perspective of the United States right now? Janelle?
What is a beatitude?
Good. Well, write one of these things, one of these blessed statements. Okay? So blessed, we'll come to that. Blessed are who? Just give me a full one.
So from the
Blessed are those
from the perspective of the United States, right? Being in the United States right now, assisting the United States from this Western perspective.
Blessed are those who dominate.
Blessed are those who dominate, for they
will have more than others.
For they will have more than others. That's a beatitude from our Western perspective. Give me another one. Yeah, Ron.
Blessed are those who make a lot of money, for they will always be satisfied.
Great, that's a great one. That's a good one. Blessed are those who make a lot of money, for they will always be satisfied. That is a Western United States sort of like beatitude. Okay, Michael?
Blessed are those who receive budget cuts, for they shall be humble.
Okay. Good. I mean, that wasn't personal or anything else.
Yeah, sorry. That was a little,
Something, the first thing came to your mind.
that's kind of EOC.
Right, I got you. Okay, good. Give me another one. Janelle.
Blessed are the educated, for they shall be rich.
Aha. Blessed are the educated, for they shall be rich. Give me another one. Tim.
Blessed are those who move up the executive chain, for they will acquire the American dream.
Aha! That's a good one. Give me another one from 21st century Western United States perspective.
Okay.
Janelle. Oh, go ahead, Leticia.
Okay. Bless those immigrants that come up from other countries, that when they come up here, their pesos become dollar and they become rich and famous.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. That's a good one. All right, Janelle.
Blessed are Americans, because we're better than every other country.
Absolutely. There you go. Good one. Hey, let's. Can we take it one level deeper?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a gender specific beatitude from the Western United States. Men or women? Okay, give me one. Give me one. A blessed statement.
Blessed are men, for they are more powerful, more worthy than women.
Western United States. Can we go one level deeper?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, blessed are the women who preach, for they shall soon be heard.
Okay. All right. Good. Let's go one level deeper. Give me an ethnic Western United States blessed statement.
Oh no.
Blessed are Caucasians, for they are the masters of all human race.
Wow. Are we speaking truth now?
Blessed are those with fairer skin, because they're considered more beautiful.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Light hair and light eyes.
And this those same beatitudes, if you will, existed maybe slightly differently, but they weren't that much different. In Rome in the first century, and they were very common and y'all didn't have to, I didn't see anybody pull out their phone to come up with a beatitude right now for Western United. No one's like Googling anything like, oh gosh, I don't know, what should we do? Like, I didn't see anyone like, have to like try and, ask your neighbor like, hey, can you come up with one? You knew them. You knew them.
Yeah.
Because you live in this reality every day. These disciples of Jesus who've gathered around Jesus knew the Beatitudes of their day. And again, they are not that much different than they are here today in the United States and the Western world. They lived in this reality. And can you now imagine Jesus walking into this society, walking into this culture, gathering people like you and me, and we sat around him just perhaps for darn near the first time, and he says something ridiculous. He says, blessed are they who are sad, for they will be comforted. He says, blessed are those who are meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who seek after, who hunger and thirst after righteousness. I'm sorry, that was not a beatitude in my culture. I mean, what do we hunger and thirst after?
Vengeance.
Money, vengeance, whatever. Put something else there, but it's never righteousness. He says, hunger and blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness. Janelle,
What's righteousness?
why don't you take a shot at it?
Rightness?
So there's this word. I don't want to go too far with this, but there's this word behind that. Okay, this Greek word, and basically is about right justice. There is the same word for righteousness in the New Testament that we translate righteousness. Is the same word we translate justice in the New Testament. It's the same word. Y'all know how language translation works. Y'all get that? All right, so Spanish to English, right? Good example. In the Spanish, the word for justice is justicia. Justicia, right? Okay. But they don't have in the Spanish language, there is no separate word for righteousness. If you get a Spanish Bible, okay, Bible, Spanish, right? Okay. And you read any of these verses in the New Testament that say righteousness. You know what it says in the Spanish Bible? Justicia. Did you hear what I said? If you read any of the verses in the New Testament that say justice, you know where it says in the Spanish? Justicia. Justicia. Justicia righteousness, justicia justice. They don't have a separate word. It's the same. It's the same idea. Same thing with the Greek. Okay? Same word. Just translate. So to answer your question, right? So what is righteousness, right? It's basically a right justice. And I think that's important to say. It's kind of a made-up word, right? There's no such word as right justice. But I think it's an important thing to say because there is a wrong justice.
Right. Yeah.
In our society, Western United States, even globally, there is a wrong. We call it justice, but it's not justice.
That's true.
Okay? We just experienced this we had this long conversation about the George Zimmerman verdict, right? So I call it a legal system, not a justice system. Right? Because our legal system doesn't produce justice, it just produces verdicts.
Yeah.
You hear me? Okay?
Yeah.
All right. God's justice is how I define justice. That's how I understand justice. And our legal system doesn't produce God's justice. Okay? All right. So, but this is what Jesus says, what he does. This beatitude idea, somebody, somewhere, some translator who is getting ready to mass produce Bibles, right? At some point, decided that we should start calling these the Beatitudes. If you have a Bible, if you have it on your phone, I can almost guarantee that it says the Beatitudes, right there, Matthew chapter 5, starting at verse number between 1 and 2, right? I think, or between 2 and 3, whatever it is. So, but it says the Beatitudes. That is not what Jesus called these. Jesus didn't have a name for them. He wasn't trying to name them. He just starts out with his disciples, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. This is how Jesus starts. Somebody somewhere down the road, like you or like me, decided we're going to call these the Beatitudes. And I think that this is where it's caused a lot of problem over time because it is suggested that some kind of way when you read the Beatitudes, if you follow what that word is saying, that it is suggesting that maybe these are attitudes that we ought to be. We ought to have these attitudes. But look, if you take that idea, if you embrace that idea and you read this, that ought to just cause you all kinds of problems. Because it's saying, okay, so if I go with that, I want to be like this because those are people that are blessed. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Okay, I need to become poor in spirit. Lord, would you make me poor in spirit? Blessed are those who mourn. Father, I am far too happy. Jesus, I do not cry enough. Make me cry. Cause things to come upon me that would cause me to weep for hours at end. Because they are the ones who are blessed. You see how ridiculous this is?
Yeah.
Someone came up with this idea of these are the Beatitudes. This is not Jesus' idea. Jesus didn't call them Beatitudes. Somebody else called them Beatitudes. Okay? So I want to get to the end here. We are not blessed because we are poor. These are not Beatitudes. We call them that because what everyone knows them to be, but I want to be clear. On-ramps, the goal of Jesus here is not to say to you, become like this. It's not his goal. People are not blessed because they are poor or because they weep or because they are meek. That's not his point. You do not inherit. Listen. Here, let me say it another way. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Listen, you don't inherit the kingdom of heaven because you become poor in spirit.
Yeah.
You hear what I'm saying? Right? Otherwise, this becomes somehow, right, the inheritance of the kingdom of heaven is somehow related to what I do.
Yeah.
I want to go do that. I want to become that. I want to achieve that. If I can nail these 9 things down, I think I've got the keys to the kingdom. That's not his point. You've totally missed it. That's not what he's doing. Listen, so the Beatitudes are not teachings on how to be blessed.
That's good.
They are not instructions to even do anything. They're not. He's not saying to go do anything. They don't indicate conditions that are particularly pleasing to God, even. It's not his point. It's not his point. These are illustrations. These Beatitudes, as we call them. They are illustrations of a new reality that is possible. I said it's possible. It's real right now through Jesus. Here's what he's saying. Here is what he is saying. Here is what he is saying. Remember that word Makarios? Makarios? What was the difference between Makarios? How would you describe the difference between Makarios and eulegeo? You don't have to say those words ever again. But describe to me in your words how you heard the difference between the two. Do you remember?
Mercurius, you already left.
And eulegeo is I want you to become blessed. All right. That's important to understand Jesus' point. Remember what he's doing. He's introducing a new reality called the kingdom of heaven, where there is no suffering, there is no pain, there is justice, there is cooperation, there's all the things that you said. This is what Jesus is introducing. He's saying it is available to you now. Listen, this is what he says. He says, blessed, Makarios, happy are they who are poor. Happy right now are they who are poor in spirit. Why are they happy right now, though they are poor in spirit? Because they understand that theirs is already the kingdom of heaven.
Come on. That's good.
You follow me? Blessed, happy are those who mourn. Happy right now. Happy. You are happy right now while you weep, while you cry. Why? Because they know that No, this isn't eulegeo. This isn't that they are hoping that at some point in the future they will become happy. They will become No. Happy are they right now while they mourn. While they, in the midst of their pain, in the midst of their very real suffering, they are happy right now. They can be happy. They are experiencing some weird dichotomy inside of their very soul because they are crying on the one hand, but experiencing the joy of heaven on the other hand. Why? Because they know that they will be comforted. I mean, this is not Jesus saying, I hope this is going to happen. Jesus says, this will happen. This is more real than your crying. You need to understand, you will be comforted. That's how, in the midst of my tears, as a follower of, he's introducing something totally brand new. Totally brand new. Totally brand new to these disciples. In the midst of their pain. Now, and this is what trips me out, man. Listen, he's talking to his disciples, and he is pointing to other people about their reality. Because they already understand what his disciples apparently don't yet.
Right.
Wow.
Now you tell me who's saved. Because you prayed a prayer, because you went to church a bunch of times, or because that'll mess up your little salvation theology right there, right? Because he's saying to his disciples, his 12, he's saying, y'all don't get it yet. Let me look around in the crowds. Hey, that one right there who's crying right now, but they has a smile on their face, they already understand that they will become. Blessed is that one right there. I'm not talking to y'all. I can't talk to you right now because y'all don't get it yet. Him over there, her over there, she already understands that she will be comforted. That's why she has joy in the midst of her mourning. She will be comforted. Blessed is she. Blessed is he. They are happy right now. It's a brand new reality that Jesus is introducing to them right now in this moment. The goal is not to become sad. No! That's not the goal. That's not what Jesus is about. He's introducing the kingdom. That's his goal, is to introduce the reality of a kingdom that is his Father's, where there is no suffering, where there is no sadness, where there is no death, where there is justice, where there is cooperation, where there's all the things that you said are true about heaven. I want to introduce that to you all, my disciples, right now. And when you receive that, when you understand that, he says it changes everything. It changes everything. Makarios, you are blessed now. I'm speaking of a present reality, not a future reality. I'm speaking about what's true right now in this moment. That's how I can say, happy are they who mourn. Happy right now are they who are mourning right now. Because they understand that comfort is coming more surely than more pain is coming. They know that comfort is on its way. This is what Jesus is doing in all of his Beatitudes. He's just introducing reality to his disciples, saying, and to the world, saying, look, you have got to get a handle on this kingdom thing. That's why I love starting with testimonies tonight, right? I love starting with testimonies because it helps us get a grasp of what his kingdom reality is like. God healed me. God reunited my family. God did this. God did that. God just called somebody and had him just donate a whole air conditioner. Says God's doing things because you have to understand God's goodness. God is in a good mood. I need y'all to know that. God, he woke up in a good mood today. God he never wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. He doesn't. He is always in a good mood. God's goodness, he is so good. That if you would just understand how much he intends and wants to do for those that he loves, you would then begin to understand how real this kingdom is. And so tonight, I just want to sort of lay that foundation as we move into the rest of the teaching in the weeks to come. So, thoughts from you tonight?
I have some questions. It's out of Matthew verse 5. I heard that be careful when you open the door because you don't know what will be happen outside the door. Whether you're gonna be stabbed, you're gonna have an accident, your baby gonna be sick, or anything can be happen. So I need to know if that is really true or blessed of God.
That's a good question. So I want to answer that one.
I don't understand that word because it's kind of scary because once I open the door, I get up early in the morning, I open the door without hesitation, without scary because of God. I know there is God. But every time I hear it reminds me those words, it makes me like hesitation, but I erase them.
Letitia, let me tell you something about God. God is not after you.
Okay.
He's not trying to come after you. He's not stalking you. He's not mad at you. He's not angry with you. Okay? He is not, you don't have to worry. Okay? When you follow Jesus, okay, you don't have to worry, all right, about what's going to happen when you open the door and all that kind of stuff. God is not after you. All right? He loves you. You love your daughter, right?
So since then, I avoid to talk that person because she is always negative. There's no positive things that encourage me to go on with my life.
Letitia, do you love your daughter?
Of course, I like.
Of course you
my
do.
daughter.
Does your daughter, when she comes into the house at night, does she have to worry about what you're going to do to her?
No, I
Absolutely
told her
not.
everything.
Why? Because you love her, right?
Yeah, and I told
Same
her
thing.
everything what you heard from negative things like opening the door.
No.
Just ignore them.
Good. Good. Any other thoughts tonight before we close? I'm so sorry. It's so hot in here. What's going on? Anyway, somebody brought the hot air with them. I don't know what happened. What's going on? Any other thoughts tonight? Something the Lord's saying to you, speaking to you tonight. Yeah.
What you just preached on, it kind of like reminds me of, I don't know, for me, my life in a way, where I'm mourned, but I'm happy, and, you know, like, there's times and tribulations and stuff, and it's just like I want to cry, but I know that you can cry in happiness because, like, I'm carried. Like, he's carrying me. And he's been carrying me.
It's good. It's good. It's good.
That's that comfort.
It's good. It's good. One other thought.
Well, I just feel like it's naturally and spiritually. Like she was saying with just life, to me, just reading that, that's just life in general. Regardless of what happens in your life naturally or spiritually, you have to know that you will always be blessed. You know what I'm saying? And then at the bottom it says, rejoice. And because you're blessed, you can shift into that rejoicing period. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's
It's good. I'll leave you with this word. Jesus is not saying that you enter. How do I want to say this? Jesus is not saying that. Let me just. The easiest one to talk about is the mourning one. Okay, the crying one, the weeping one, the sadness one. Okay, so let me just stay with that one. Jesus is not saying that when you are sad, that if you would manufacture a joy of some kind, that you will therefore be comforted in the future. It's not what he's saying. He is saying that the way in which you experience joy in the midst of your mourning is when you are aware of how real the kingdom is. You hear what I'm saying? The only way, if in every day you just had a higher, you just began to think when you wake up in the morning, God, I want to hear from heaven, right? I want to see what God, what are you doing in my neighborhood today? What are you doing in my life today? Where are you taking me, right? If you became aware of what God is doing, right? That's the only way to begin to see these become reality. And this is not a full list. He's not trying to make a list. He's not trying to say, well, these are the only 9 right here where I have anything to say. No, this applies to every situation, every day, every moment of our lives. But it is entered into through the reality of the kingdom of heaven, knowing that that is so real. And so because I know it's so real, therefore, that's how I have joy in the midst of my mourning. That is how, even though I am meek and I inherit seemingly nothing on the earth, because that's for the rich and powerful, I will inherit the earth. You hear what I'm saying? So let me close this in prayer tonight.